Hey guys, tonight we're slipping into something colder, rougher, a little more feral. We're leaving behind swords and shining armor, and stepping into what survival really looked like. No myths, no mercy. Forget kings and crowns. This is what happens when the fire goes out, the food runs dry, and the tribe forgets your name. Welcome to a world where silence is safety, and staying alive is the only story that matters. So before you get too cozy, take a second to like the video and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy this strange little corner of quiet storytelling. And drop a comment with where you're listening from and what time it is for you. It's strangely comforting to know who else is drifting off with us around the world. Now get comfortable, let the day melt away, and we'll drift back together into the quiet corners of the past. You wake up with a beetle in your mouth. It scrapes against your tongue, legs frantic, bitter. You spit. It tumbles into the dirt beside your face and vanishes into the roots. You blink. The air is wet. Your hair clings to your cheek. There's no fire, no sound, just the soft press of morning mist on your skin. You lift your head slowly. Your neck protests. Something in your jaw clicks. The fur you slept under, if you can call it that, is damp and smells like the inside of an animal that died before it should have. You remember nothing after sundown. You remember sitting. Then black. Now this. Your feet are dirty, your hands numb. A line of ants marches over your ankle like you're a log. You sit up. The sky is colorless, pale and bleached like old bones. Fog curls off the earth in thick strings. Your stomach whines. It has nothing to digest except itself. You reach for your satchel. It isn't there. You look around. No one. Nothing. Just distant trees, skeletal and gray, and your own breath, which you only notice because it's the only thing trying to warm you. You stand. A crack shoots through your left heel. It's healing badly from the time you stepped on that thorn. You don't have time to limp. You don't have time to think. You need to find them. The others. The tribe. If you were left, it was on purpose. You crouch to scan the dirt. No footprints, but there's a broken stick, a tuft of hair, a smear. Someone passed through, or something. You shuffle that way. The morning is too quiet. Not dead quiet, just listening quiet. You feel watched, but that's always true. And always true doesn't mean safe. A bird calls overhead, once, twice, and you flinch like it was a spear. Your body doesn't know the difference anymore. It just knows that anything sudden might be the last thing. You find a rock with a dry patch beneath it. Could have been where someone squatted to eat, or cry, or wait. It doesn't matter. It's cold now. You keep walking. The fog thins. Trees thicken. You step over a shallow rut where an animal dragged something, or was dragged. The forest feels less like trees and more like ribs. Then, a sound. Behind you. Not big, not small either. Software shifting. You stop moving, which is hard because you want to run. But you don't run from what you can't see. That's how you trip and die with a stick through your neck. You crouch beside a bush and press your body against the dirt. You wait. Breath shallow. Fingers curled around the stone knife tied to your leg. The mist parts just enough. There. It's not a man, not quite a beast. It's a creature with ribs like bent fingers and fur matted down with dried something. It limps. One leg drags. It looks like a wolf, but older, sicker. Its eyes glow, not magic, just reflecting morning. But you feel something in your throat tighten. It hasn't seen you. Yet. Then it stops. It sniffs. Your grip tightens. Your teeth do too. It turns its head. You see the edge of a scar. You see one ear is torn. It sees you. You stare. It blinks. You do not run. It does not charge. The world holds its breath. You take your hand off your knife. You're not sure why. You reach slowly into your pouch. There's a scrap of something inside. Tough. Dry. A piece of squirrel skin, maybe. You toss it near the edge of the clearing. The animal flinches, then limps forward, sniffs, takes it, chews once. Then it lies down. Not far. Just far enough to show it's not yours, but not yours either. You sit. The sky lightens. You and it watch nothing together for a long time. You wonder how long you've both been alone. You wonder what it means that neither of you tried to kill the other. It closes its eyes first. You do too. Just for a moment. Your hands are empty. Your mouth is dry. You chew bark anyway. It tastes like bitter dirt and rot, but it gives your teeth something to do while your brain tries to find something it forgot. A plan, maybe. A direction. A reason. Anything. You. Pull the stringy fibers from your lips and spit them into the grass. They land in a clump of your own hair. It must have come out in the night. Too much cold, not enough food. You think about eating the hair. You don't. There's no fire, not even a smudge of ash. You press your fingers to the ground, hoping for warmth. Nothing. The dirt is damp and indifferent. You used to know how to make fire. You watched the older ones rub sticks until their palms bled. You remember the smoke, the hiss, the way everyone leaned close. You never learned how to do it yourself. Now no one else is here. That feels important. You look around. Trees, tall and cruel. Fog still clings to their trunks like old spider webs. You walk a few steps. Your feet leave prints in the mud, soft and round. You consider walking in a circle just to make yourself feel followed, but you don't want to know if it would work. You reach a tree with bark like scabs. You peel a strip and bite down. Chew. Swallow. The hunger doesn't go away, but it gets quieter, like a child sulking in the corner. Your body wants warmth. Your brain wants a weapon. Your eyes want light. You have none of it. You gather twigs anyway. Some are damp, some snap too easily. You pile them in a dent in the ground and crouch beside them like a prayer. You rub sticks together until your fingers cramp. Nothing. Again. Again. Still nothing. You look up at the sky and wish it would burn. Instead, it just hangs there, pale and blank, like it doesn't know you exist. A sound behind you makes your body move before your mind can. You spin. Nothing but trees. Wind, maybe, or not. You listen harder. Something moves again. A branch cracks, far but not far enough. You stay low, motionless. The breath in your lungs forgets how to leave. Then silence. The long waiting kind. You turn back to the dead twigs. You know they won't light. You try anyway. You tear a strip from your own fur wrap and twist it like kindling. It's damp. You suck on it first, as if that might help. It doesn't. You strike a stone against another. Sparks leap, land, die. You try again. 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 Your hands go numb. Your eyes sting. Eventually, you stop. You sit beside the pile and stare at it like it betrayed you. You smell smoke. Not yours. Distant. Thin. Your neck snaps toward it before you realize what you're doing. You don't know where it came from. Could be the tribe. Could be another. Could be a mistake. Your legs start walking before you decide. You move through brambles and mud, the cold biting harder now that your body's moving again. Every shadow looks like a person you forgot the name of. Every bird call feels like laughter you weren't invited to. You reach a clearing and find nothing. No fire, no people, just bones, picked clean, strung with moss and ants. You squat beside them. Something big died here, or many small things. You press your palm into the dirt. It's still warm. Or you imagined it. You're not sure. You take one of the bones. It's long, smooth. You tap it against a rock until it splinters. You keep the sharp end. Now you have a tool, if you can call it that. The wind picks up. Your skin stiffens. You wrap your arms around your chest and pretend they belong to someone else. You move again. No path. No plan. You're not walking toward anything. Just away. You trip. Your hand lands in something wet. Not water, not blood. Sap, maybe. You wipe it on your leg. A streak remains. You hear a bird cry high above, and for a moment, you envy it. Then it disappears. You keep walking. You forget why. Your tool is just a stick. Your warmth is just hope. Your plan is just not dying. For now, that's enough. Maybe. They didn't wait. You wake too late, belly hollow and breath sour, and the world already feels smaller, colder. There are no voices, no smoke, no crackling laughter, just the scrape of your own bones inside your skin. The fire pit is cold and empty, just a ring of stones and old ashes. The fur you used to share with the others is gone. You slept too long, or they left too early, or both. You sit up slowly. Your muscles groan like old trees. Your ankle stings from yesterday's stumble, and your left wrist still throbs where the boy kicked you during the gathering. You said nothing. That's how it works. You stand. Your legs remember how to move even when the rest of you wants to collapse. You look down. Tracks, deep in the mud. Some small, some broad, some dragging slightly. They left in a hurry, but not fear. Just routine. You were forgotten the way an extra rock is forgotten. A tooth lies near the edge of the clearing. Molar, human, yellowed and cracked. You pick it up and turn it over in your fingers. Probably the old man's, or maybe the mother's son. Doesn't matter. It's yours now. You tuck it into the strip of leather at your hip. If they want it back, they'll have to ask. You follow the prints, slowly, carefully. The air smells like wet grass and impatience. The mud sucks at your feet, trying to keep you. Your breath fogs in short bursts, as if your body isn't sure it wants to keep trying. The path winds downhill, through thorns, across a shallow creek, over a log smothered in lichen and ants. You walk in their footprints like a ghost no one invited. A ghost who never died, just wasn't spoken to again. After a while, the prints split. Half the group turned left. The others kept going. You crouch beside the fork, fingertips tracing the patterns in the dirt. You smell something on the wind. Smoke, faint and thin. Too clean to be burning meat. Just leaves and bark. They didn't stop to cook. You go left. Not because you know, but because one of the footprints drags a little. That might be the old woman who let you sleep near her last spring. She once gave you marrow when no one else would. Maybe she'd still give you marrow now, if she remembered you. You move faster. The pain in your ankle dulls to a throb. Hunger sits like a stone behind your ribs. You suck on a pebble to trick your mouth into moisture. It works for a little while. You spot a feather in the mud. Black, long, bent at the tip. You spin it between your fingers. You don't know why they dropped it. You tuck it into your hair. Maybe it makes you easier to see. Maybe it just makes you feel less alone. You come to a place where someone stopped. A flat rock with marks on it. Scratches in a half circle. Not letters, not pictures, just lines. You press your hand to them, still warm. They were here not long ago. You sit on the edge of the rock, just for a moment, just to breathe. Then you hear them, far ahead. Voices, a baby crying. A low grunt, maybe laughter, a clack of stone against stone. You rise too fast and the world spins. You grip a branch until it passes. You want to shout, but you don't. You walk faster instead. Bare feet slapping the earth, heart crawling toward your throat. The sound fades again, like they sensed you and pulled away. You come to a ridge. Below, a stretch of clearing. The grass is flat where bodies once rested, footprints still fresh. Someone urinated behind a tree, still steaming. But they're gone. Again. You stare at the place they were, at the scraps they left behind. A cracked bone, a bit of chewed fiber, a smear of something that might be fat or might be blood. You drop to your knees. You press your hands into the prints they left, like maybe you can still feel their warmth. You don't. You rise. One breath, another. You adjust your wrap, tighten the leather cord at your hip. The tooth shifts against your thigh. You keep walking. They didn't wait. But you're not done following. Not yet. The fire is barely alive. It shivers in the wind, a low orange cough in the dark. You've kept it going with damp sticks and shredded bark, your fingers black with soot and shaking from cold. It's too small to cook anything, too dim to scare off anything big. But it's yours. You made it. Or maybe it let you. You sit close, knees to chest, trying to pretend you don't hear the thing just outside the light. A crunch, then silence. A step, then stillness. It's not the wind. Wind doesn't wait for your breath to pause before moving again. You grip your stick. It's sharpened at one end, charred at the other. It smells like burnt marrow. Your arms are tired. Your mind is worse. You haven't eaten since the frozen slug you licked off a rock yesterday morning. Maybe the day before. Time has started to feel like a long inhale with no end. The noise comes again, closer, grass bending, not charging, not curious either. Just moving the way old things do. Careful, aching, slow. Your pulse climbs into your throat. Then it appears, limping, shaggy. Wrong. It steps into the edge of the firelight. A creature, shaped almost like a wolf, but bigger. Or maybe it just feels bigger because it's looking at you like it remembers you from something. One leg drags. The other three move with the slow grace of pain well practiced. Its ribs show like the framework of something unfinished. You don't breathe. It doesn't growl. You don't stab. You could. You've stabbed smaller things for less. But it doesn't bare teeth, doesn't blink. Just stands there, eyes reflecting your fire like twin ghosts. You think about your spear, the better one, the one you lost in the river 2 nights ago. If you had it now, would you use it? The creature lowers itself to the ground. It doesn't lie down exactly, more like folds, like collapse has become its version of rest. It sets its head between its paws, ears twitching once, then still. It's not sleeping. Neither are you. The fire hisses softly, swallowing. What little fuel you fed it. You add a stick. The flame climbs a little, throws more shadows against the trees. The beast doesn't move. You look away, then back, and it's still there. You think of the others, how they would have handled this, screaming, throwing rocks, making noise. One would have poked it with a burning brand until it limped away or lunged and got itself killed. You don't know why they do things like that. You don't know why you didn't. You reach into your satchel. There's almost nothing left. A shred of dried meat, mostly gristle. You tear it in half with your teeth and toss the smaller piece toward the beast. It twitches, lifts its head, sniffs, then drags itself forward on its elbows, pulling with front legs that don't seem to trust the ground. It snatches the scrap, chews slowly, eyes never leaving yours. You eat your half too. It's cold, hard. You chew until it stops being food and just becomes something to swallow. The beast finishes, then lies back down. Closer this time, just inside the fire's reach. You wonder if it used to belong to someone, a group, a pack. You wonder if it was left behind the way you were, if it was weaker, if it was a burden, if it bit the wrong hand or didn't growl when it was supposed to. You don't speak. You wouldn't know what to say. The wind changes. The fire flickers out of shape. The beast lifts its head, sniffs once, then settles again. You wrap your arms around your legs and stare into the dying flame. You can't tell if you feel safer or more afraid, but you don't feel alone. Not entirely. The creature closes its eyes first. Its breathing slows, a rhythm, a reminder. You keep yours shallow, quiet, careful. Eventually, the fire breaks, a long pop, then a hiss. The creature doesn't move. You don't either. And in the dark, nothing happens. And in the dark, you both survive. You follow crows because there's nothing else to follow. The footprints of the tribe are gone. The wind took them, or the rain. Or maybe they were never there, and you imagined them so you wouldn't stop walking. But the crows are real. They circle like black questions in the sky. 3, maybe 4, maybe more. You're not sure. You haven't looked up in a while. You walk toward the sound of them, harsh, ugly calls that scrape against the sky. Not music, not warning, just presence. Their hunger speaks your language. You understand each rasping cry like it's coming from your own mouth. You don't know where they're going, but you go with them. The sun is too high. You feel it on the back of your neck like a judgment. It doesn't warm, it accuses. The air is thick with the breath of wet trees and things that die quietly. You walk through vines that don't care you're alive, past trees that used to mean something when you had someone to name them with. One of the crows lands on a branch ahead, tilts its head, stares at you with one glossy eye, black as boiled stone. It croaks once and flutters off. You step where it was. Another lands ahead. You follow. Your feet are soft now, blistered, worn, more mud than skin. You stopped noticing when they bled. Now they just hurt the same way hunger does. Always there, always asking. Your tongue is a strip of dried leather in your mouth. You try not to swallow unless you need to. The smell comes first, before the crows even gather. Sweet and thick and wrong. It swells in the air like something alive, wrapping around your shoulders and climbing into your throat. You know that smell. You know what waits at the center of it. The clearing is quiet, not silent. Quiet in the way things are when they've already happened. The crows have gathered, black bodies clustered like spilled ink across branches, rocks, bones. Their calls have stopped. They wait now, watching you. At the center is the kill, huge, broken, ribs like stripped branches jutting up from its side, skin split open like wet bark. You don't know what it was, something larger than anything you could have brought down. Maybe a boar, maybe something older, from before stories. The flies dance over it in a humming blanket. The crows shift impatiently. One hops closer, plucks a strip of meat, and leaps away. Another follows. You approach slowly. No one else is here, not yet. No tracks, no smell of other fires. Just the rot and the birds and the ache in your legs that finally lets you drop to your knees. You don't look at the face of the thing, if it has one left. You reach for a piece of flesh near the back leg, where the hide is thinner and the meat isn't as gray. Your hand sinks into warmth. You tear, it resists, then it gives. You lean back and stare at what you've taken. It moves. Not the meat, the thing inside it. You drop it fast. Grubs, white, wet, blind. They squirm in the wound like thoughts you can't kill. You pick up the meat anyway and scrape the worms off on a rock. You bite. It tastes like death pretending to be food. You chew until you stop tasting. A crow lands beside you. Close. Too close. It watches your mouth. You tear off a piece and toss it to the side. It hops once, grabs it and flies. Another replaces it. You eat in silence. The world shifts around you. Time folds. The sky darkens a little. A breeze brushes your face, carries the scent of something burnt in the distance. But you stay. When the flies settle back in, you wipe your mouth and stand. You take a long bone with you. Flat, broad, heavy. Might be useful. Might be a weapon. Might just be something to hold. The crows scream again as you leave. You don't look back. The path isn't marked. The trees don't remember you. But the crows do. They always do. They killed something. You smelled it before you heard them. Blood on bark, fresh and hot and full of iron. Then the voices. Low, tense, relieved. Not singing. There's no singing anymore. Just the sound of chewing and hands ripping things apart. You crouch behind the ferns, close enough to hear skin tear from muscle, bone crack under teeth. The men are crouched in a tight ring around the carcass, backs hunched, arms red. The kill lies open in the grass, steam rising from its center. You can't see its face. Just a hoof, just the ribs, just enough to know it was big, and it was caught, and it's not yours. Your stomach twists, a wet knot of emptiness and heat. It's louder than your breath. You press your palm to it like that might help. It doesn't. The last thing you ate was half a root scraped from frostbitten ground and a beetle that tasted like bark. A woman tears a strip from the body and hands it to a child. The child drops it, picks it back up, wipes it on her leg, then shoves it into her mouth without looking. The woman doesn't speak, just turns back to the meat. You know them. Not well. Not by name. They don't use those much, but by shape, by sound. One of the men once laughed when you tripped over your own spear. Another threw a bone at your feet, grinning like that meant something. You remember that the woman has a long scar under her arm. You remember that she never looks you in the eye. They don't know you're here, or they do, and they're pretending not to. The fire is small, just enough to keep the wolves away, not enough to cook everything. Most of it's raw, sticky. They don't care. Hunger is sharper than taste. One man, taller than the rest, bald, lips always chapped, grabs something red and thick from the kill and slurps it whole. Blood runs down his chin. No one tells him to wipe it. You shift your weight, and a twig snaps. Soft, but not soft enough. Heads turn, not all, just two. The woman with the scar, the bald man. They look into the dark. You don't move. Their eyes flick over you, past you, through you. Then they turn back to the meat. No call, no gesture, no invitation, not even a warning. Your stomach cramps so hard you have to bite the inside of your cheek to stay quiet. You taste blood. Yours. At least you get that. One of the boys tosses a rib over his shoulder. It lands in the dirt. A dog, or something close to a dog, scurries from the edge of camp, grabs it, disappears again. You make note of where it went. You count the mouths. 10, maybe 12. You're not sure who killed it. Maybe all of them. Maybe just one. Maybe it doesn't matter. You want to step forward. Just one step. Just close enough to be seen on purpose. You won't ask. You won't speak. Just a glance. Just a scrap. Just enough. But your feet stay where they are. You tell yourself it's caution. It might be shame. A boy gets up and walks toward the trees, chewing as he goes. His eyes pass over you. For a second, they catch. You see the meat in his mouth. He sees the hollowness in yours. He doesn't stop. He vanishes into the dark. The fire crackles. Someone laughs, just once. You don't leave right away. You watch the feast shrink. The carcass hollow. The bones scatter. When they finally settle into sleep, arms wrapped around full bellies and smeared hands, you creep forward. Not too close, just close enough to find what they missed. A scrap near the grass, a tendon half gnawed, a piece of fat crushed into the dirt. You eat with fingers, not hands. You don't chew. You swallow. Then you vanish too. The child is too small for the cold. Their arms are thin, wrapped in scraps of hide that used to be a pouch, or a sleeve, or nothing. You don't know where their parents are. Maybe they're asleep. Maybe they're dead. Maybe they left when the meat ran out and forgot the child was still breathing. The child doesn't cry. Crying takes energy. Crying draws eyes. The child just sits, legs folded like a frog, toes crusted with mud, face blank, and chews something pale and dirty. A bulb, torn from the edge of the forest path. You saw it too, earlier, and didn't take it. Too bitter. Too stringy. You'd already chewed bark that day, and that felt like enough punishment. But now the child is chewing it. Slowly. Mashing it with their gums. They don't have many teeth. They don't need them. No one is watching. You are, but no one else. A woman crouches near the fire, rubbing something into her calf, ash maybe, or spit. She doesn't look over. One of the older boys is snapping sticks and humming through his nose, his fingers twitching with some rhythm he can't forget. A man sharpens a stone into a worse stone. The others are sleeping or pretending to. The child leans forward and pulls another bulb from the ground. It comes up with a worm still curled around its base. The worm falls, squirms once. The child picks it up and puts it in their mouth too. Their face doesn't change. You step closer, not too close. You crouch low so the adults don't think you're standing over anyone. That's always dangerous. No one owns this child, but everyone owns their own fear. You don't want to be someone else's problem today. The child glances at you. Their eyes are round and blank and too big for their face. There's dirt under their nose. You reach for a leaf to wipe it away, then stop. Your hand hovers in the air, stupid and half useful. The child swallows. You ask nothing. They offer nothing. You nod once. Not at them, not really. Just at the situation, the bulb, the worm, the silence. The child drops the chewed stem and picks up another. This one is mostly root. It breaks apart in their fingers. They shove it in their mouth anyway. You glance at the others again. Still nothing. The man with the stone now has blood on his thumb. He doesn't notice. The woman by the fire has started muttering, words with no shape, words for no one. You look back at the child. They gag, slightly, just once, then keep chewing. You reach into the satchel tied at your hip. There's not much left. A piece of tendon, a dried clump of marrow you've been saving for a better day. You hold it out. The child doesn't move. You set it on the ground between you. Still nothing. You wait, then rise slowly. You walk a few steps away, but not far. You squat again, near enough to watch, but not enough to be accused. The child leans forward and picks up the marrow, sniffs, licks, then eats. Still no change in their face. No gratitude, no joy. Just eating, just surviving. You wonder how old they are. You wonder what their name might be, if anyone ever whispered one into their ear. You wonder if they even know the word child, or if they've just always been this way, low to the ground, quiet, eating whatever doesn't bite back. You see their belly. It's not flat, it's swollen, not from fullness, but from the kind of hunger that lives too long, the kind that changes your shape before it changes your future. You feel something in your throat, but you swallow it. There are no words for this, not ones that matter, not ones anyone would hear. The child finishes the marrow, licks their fingers, goes back to the dirt. Still, no one stops them. Not you. Not the world. The fire is full tonight. Not the fire itself. That small, sunken in its ring of blackened stones. Barely enough to boil water you don't have. But the space around it. Bodies packed close. Knees to knees. Backs curved inward. The heat lives in the middle, where the important ones sit. The ones who killed something today. The ones who sharpen tools instead of scrape them dull. The ones who speak first and loudest and are not told to be quiet. You hover just beyond the light, close enough to see the steam rise from their bowls, to smell the meat that's been boiled so long it doesn't smell like death anymore. Your mouth waters and then dries again. You press your lips together and listen to your own stomach. There is space at the edge of the fire ring. Not much. Enough for a child, or for someone who doesn't ask for seconds. You think about moving toward it. You think about asking nothing. Just sitting, just being there, and hoping they forget you didn't help with the kill, or that you spoke when the leader was speaking, or that you came back without bark or berries or anything useful. You didn't mean to come back empty-handed, but you did. A hand reaches out, not to you, just for another stick. A woman stirs the pot with it, then licks the end. She laughs, but no one joins her. The sound cracks in the air and vanishes. The fire snaps once in response. She stares into it like it might say something back. Someone shifts, makes room. You step forward, a half step. Then you hear it. The snort, sharp through the nose. A sound not meant for words, but meaning. Enough. You freeze. The speaker doesn't turn around, doesn't need to. It's not meant to be a threat, just a reminder. You don't belong there. Not tonight. Maybe not any night. You step back. The cold grabs your ankles like a waiting animal. You find a patch of ground behind a log and lower yourself into it. The earth is damp. The moss smells of rot. You don't care. You pull your wrap tighter, though it does nothing. You tuck your hands under your arms. Your fingers are stiff. Not from injury, from distance, from being too far from the center. You watch the firelight dance on their faces. It makes the good ones look kinder. It makes the cruel ones look wise. You try to imagine what you'd look like in that glow. Would they see you differently if you sat close enough to touch? A child hands her mother a charred bone. The mother chews it noisily, eyes half shut. The child leans into her side and yawns. They don't speak. They don't need to. The fire pops again. Embers leap and scatter. One lands near your foot. You almost reach for it, out of instinct, but it dies too fast. You shift to your side and watch them. Someone passes a bowl. It goes from hand to hand, skipping you without hesitation. They're not ignoring you. They're just remembering what matters. A laugh rises again. This one louder, real. The kind that comes from full bellies and unspoken victories. You can't tell who started it, but it moves through them like a wave. You try to laugh too, quiet just in case, but it sounds wrong in your mouth, like copying a sound you don't understand. You stare at your own hands. They look smaller in the dark. Useless. One knuckle still swollen from the rock you hit this morning, trying to crack a seed that turned out to be stone. You place your palms on your knees and press down. just enough to feel the shape of yourself again, just enough to stay present. A breeze moves through the trees. It skirts around the fire circle. No one feels it there, but you do. The fire crackles. They keep talking. You keep breathing. The night gets colder. The circle stays full. It came back. You're not sure why. There's no meat left, not even the skin. You boiled that days ago until it turned to strings, then drank the water, then chewed the strings, then spat them out when your jaw locked. Still, it came back. It doesn't bark. You don't know that word. But you know what barking is. What the wild ones do when you get too close to their den, or when they hunt in packs, shrieking as they circle you, waiting for you to stumble. This one doesn't do that. This one is quiet. It's smaller than the others. Ragged. Fur like wind-blown ash. Ears torn at the edges, one lower than the other like it's always listening to something behind it. Its ribs show. Its eyes don't. You don't know when it first started following you. You just turned around one morning and there it was, sitting by the tree you pissed on, watching. Not hungry, not friendly, just there. You tried to scare it. Raised your arms, hissed through your teeth, threw a stone. It dodged, took 3 steps back, waited, then came closer. Now it sits beside you, not touching, not asking, just sharing your silence. You tear a strip of bark from the tree and chew it slowly. The taste is nothing, but the movement helps your mind pretend it's doing something. The creature watches, then looks away. It yawns like it's tired of being alert, then tucks its head between its paws. You speak softly. Not words, sounds, shapes of breath. You don't have a word for this thing, but you say something anyway. The sound of patience, of I see you, of I won't hit you today. It doesn't move. The others saw it once. One of the men picked up a spear and hissed like you did. Took a step forward. The creature stayed still. Didn't flinch. The man didn't throw. Just spat near its feet and walked away. Now no one looks at it, like it's part of you, like it means something bad if they name it. You share your space with it. Not your food, there is none, but your warmth. When the sun drops low and the cold rises from the ground, the creature curls tighter. You press your back to a rock. It presses its back to nothing, still close. Once, in the middle of the night, you woke to the sound of growling, low and deep. You reached for your stick before your eyes opened. But it wasn't for you. The creature was standing, shoulders tense, facing the woods. A pair of yellow eyes blinked from the dark, then vanished. You didn't say thank you. You didn't say anything, but you let it lie closer after that, closer than before. You don't touch it. You don't need to. It follows you when you walk, drifts behind, stops when you stop, drinks when you drink, sniffs where you squat. Sometimes you forget it's there. Sometimes you look up and flinch, then remember. It watches your hands, every movement, every twitch, not waiting for food, just memorizing. You see other creatures in the woods. They run, they scatter. This one stays. You wonder if it forgot how to leave. You see a reflection in the stream once, yours and its, side by side. For a second, you think it's 2 of you. Then you realize it is. Almost. You speak again. Just a sound. You try different ones. Some sharp, some soft. One makes its ears twitch. Another makes it blink. You repeat that one. It doesn't respond, but it doesn't leave either. You sit by the fire that night. It sits close enough to see the flame in its eyes. You toss in the last dry twig. The fire coughs upward, then settles. You look at the creature. It looks back. You still don't know the word for what it is, But whatever it is, it's still here. It rained the night before, not hard, just enough to turn the soil soft, to fill the creases in the ground with water and silence. The sky stayed gray after, like it didn't feel finished. No sun, no birds, just breath and waiting. The body is small, not a child, not old. One of the middle ones, the ones who gather sticks or carry water or keep watch while the others chew. You didn't know them well. You remember their cough. It started 2 moons ago. Shallow, like laughter without the smile. Then deeper. Then gone. Until today. Now the body is curled. Not like death, like sleep. Legs folded, arms tucked in, head tilted forward so the neck disappears. You wonder if they did it on purpose, or if the body remembered something older than pain and folded itself into rest. They don't say anything. The others, they dig, not with tools, with stones, with their hands. Fingernails tear and fingers bleed. The dirt smells clean underneath, cold and full of roots. One woman scrapes moss into the hole, maybe for softness, or maybe because it's green and green feels like something. You watch, not too close, just far enough to see. There are no words, no songs, no fire, no markers, just the digging and the wind and the sound of the body being lifted. You don't help. You want to. Your legs shift once, but no one asks, and you've learned what it means when no one asks. You stay still. The body goes in slowly. They don't drop it. They lower it, like a bundle of something fragile. A wrapped skin. A memory. The hole isn't deep, just enough. Deep enough to forget. Shallow enough to remember. Someone places a flat stone beside the body. Another places one over the feet. Then the chest. Then the head. It takes a while. There aren't enough stones nearby, so a boy runs to the edge of the trees and comes back with more. His arms shake. His eyes don't. One stone slips. Another presses it down. The rain starts again. Not hard, just mist. Like the sky is spitting out what it doesn't want to swallow. No one says a name. You realize you never knew it. You try to remember their voice, but it's already gone. You try to remember if they ever looked at you. Maybe. Maybe not. The stones stack up until the body disappears. You want to touch one. Just one. To press your hand against it and feel what's underneath. You don't. Someone might see. Someone might ask what you're doing, and you won't have an answer. The last stone goes on top. Then nothing. They step back. Some turn away. Some don't. A man clears his throat, not to speak, just to swallow the noise in his chest. The group moves, slowly, leaves the mound behind like a patch of dirt that grew a scar. No one looks back. You stay. For a moment. Just one. You crouch by the edge of the stones and reach into your wrap. There's a shard of bone you've been saving, polished smooth, from the carcass by the river. You don't know why you kept it. Now you do. You place it between 2 stones, careful not to drop it. It slides into the gap and disappears, a gift or a secret, or just something to fill the space. You rise. The earth under your feet feels softer now. You follow the others, slow, quiet. A few steps behind, the stones stay behind. So does the body, and the silence that came with it. The bush doesn't look like much. Thin branches, tangled like hair, leaves sharp at the edges. No sound but the insects clicking nearby and the wind breathing like something half asleep. But there it is, red, glossy, swollen. One perfect berry hanging like a promise in the thorns. You stare at it for a long time. Just that one. No others. Nothing on the ground beneath it. The kind you never see unless something else missed it first. A mistake, or a gift, or bait. You reach for it. The first thorn catches your forearm, just a scratch. You flinch, but not enough to stop. Your fingers curl through the branches. Your skin finds more. They drag across the back of your hand, sharp enough to whisper pain into your nerves. You keep going. The berry glows. It looks wet, like it's sweating under your breath. You stretch farther. The thorn at your wrist stabs deep. This one doesn't whisper. It speaks. You hiss. Blood rises in a line across your skin. You keep going. Your fingers brush the berry. It tilts, still clinging to its tiny green stem. You wrap 2 fingers around it and pull. It resists. You twist. It snaps free. You sit back fast, pulling your arm out of the bush like it might bite again. It does. A final rake down your knuckle. You press your palm to your chest, warm, wet. You look down. Thin red lines, some already clotting, some still weeping. You don't care. You hold the berry in your hand like something sacred. It's smaller now, out of the bush, less shining. But it's real. Yours, for now. You stare at it. You think about saving it, carrying it back, offering it to the child who still eats roots and worms. You think about the dog thing, the one that follows, but never asks. You think about someone looking at you with gratitude. Then your stomach reminds you. It twists. Hollow, angry, not patient anymore. You lift the berry to your mouth and press it to your tongue. It bursts. The sweetness doesn't last long. It's sharp first, then soft, then gone. You swallow. It leaves a sting in your throat. And something else. Regret, maybe. Or relief. You stare at the empty space in your hand. It's just juice now. Red in the lines of your palm, mixing with blood. You lick it clean. The thorns still shake from where you touch them. You hear a bird overhead, rustling branches, judging maybe, or just watching. You sit down in the dirt, legs crossed, elbows on knees. You look at your wrist again. The deepest cut is still open, leaking slow. You press on it with your thumb. It beads up, then slides down your arm in a crooked line. You bleed easy now. Your skin used to be thicker, or your body used to care more. You wonder how many things you've bled for this week. Bark, a bone, fire, sleep, a place in the circle, a glance, a name, one berry. You lean back against the rock behind you and close your eyes. For a second you feel full. Not full like after meat. Not warm full. Just not empty. You stay there until the wind changes. You smell smoke. Far off. The others are cooking something. You stand slowly. You touch your wrist again. Still bleeding. You walk back through the brush. You don't follow your trail. The bush remains. And the thorns remember you. They see him before you do. Heads lift around the fire. Movements slow. Not fear. Not yet. Just that strange stillness people get when the world decides to interrupt itself. Someone rises with a stone in hand. Someone else reaches for a burning stick. You turn. He's standing just beyond the trees, not hiding, not stepping forward. Just there. Still as bark, wild-eyed, half-starved. His hair is long and matted, clumped like the roots of things that grow without help. His ribs show even in the dimness, each one a tight breath stretching thin skin. You stare at him. He stares back. You're not sure which of you looks more surprised. He takes one step closer. The others don't like that. The man with the stick shouts something low and ugly. The woman with the cracked lips spits into the dirt and grips her daughter tighter. The stranger doesn't flinch, just blinks, slow. His arms hang limp at his sides like he's forgotten how to carry anything. You see it in his face, the hunger, yes, but something sharper than that. The kind of emptiness that's been carved out, not fallen into. He's not just alone, He's been alone long enough to forget what his own voice sounds like. You've seen that before, in water, in dreams. You step forward. No one notices. They're too busy deciding what he is: danger, beggar, ghost. He raises one hand, not fast, just enough to be seen. You think about what that means: a greeting, a warning, a plea. You think about the time you stood just like that, mud to your knees, throat too tight to speak, hoping someone would let you stay near the fire. They didn't wave back then. They don't now. The boy with the crooked eye throws a stone. It misses. The stranger doesn't move. Another stone. This one hits his shoulder. He grunts, bends, just slightly, but he stays. The woman hisses through her teeth. The fire crackles like it wants to say something, but doesn't. You walk forward again. You're near the edge of the group now. One step more and you're not part of it anymore. He sees you. You raise your hand too. A mirror. A memory. He watches. The others notice. The man with the stick mutters something sharp. You don't turn to him. You reach into the fold of your wrap and pull out the last root you saved. It's dry. It's bitter. It's half-eaten. You step past the stones and place it on the dirt between you. Then step back. He stares at the root, then at you, then at the others. No one breathes. He walks forward, each step careful, like the ground might not forgive him. He kneels, picks up the root, holds it like it might bite. Then he eats, slow, chewing with the care of someone who's forgotten how to want things. The man with the stick scoffs, turns his back. The woman mutters something to her daughter and looks away, but no one throws another stone. You stay where you are. On the edge now, he stays too. You sit, so does he. Neither of you speaks. You don't need to. His eyes are wide and tired. His hands tremble, even at rest. He keeps glancing at the fire like he's waiting for it to disappear. You know that look. You had it once, maybe still do. You lie back in the dirt. He does too. Two shapes at the edge. Two strangers in different directions. For now, you face the same way. He doesn't speak much. No one asks him to. His words come slow and brittle, like dead branches breaking in his throat. But when he stands, people make space. Not out of fear, not exactly. Out of something older. Something shaped like fear, but deeper. Something without a name. Tonight, he's painted. Ash streaks down his arms, smeared across his chest in uneven lines, pressed into the corners of his mouth. It makes him look like stone, or like something pulled from the inside of a cave. You don't know where he got the ash, or when he covered himself in it. He just stood up at dusk, bare-chested, and the world moved away from him. The fire burns lower now, not out of fuel, out of attention. All eyes are on him. He kneels slowly, knees sinking into dust. The ground accepts him like it knew this would happen. He pulls a bone from the leather strap around his waist, a shard of something sharp, maybe rib, maybe not. It's dark with old use. You've never seen him sharpen it. You've never seen him clean it either. He presses it to his left palm, cuts, not deep, just enough to open something. The blood beads, then spills. He does the same to the right. 2 red lines. He doesn't wince. He doesn't flinch. He presses his hands flat into the dust. Not hard. Not like he's trying to leave a mark. Just pressing. Like the ground might need to feel his heat. The blood runs out in slow branches. It pools in the cracks between his fingers. The dust turns darker. No one speaks. Even the children are still. Even the fire waits. He lifts his hands, red and dry now, and raises them to the sky. Not in worship, not in surrender, just up, like offering his emptiness to something bigger. He tilts his head back. His eyes stay open. The sky is blank, gray-blue, not dark yet, not light. He stares into it like it owes him something. You wonder what he sees. You wonder if it sees him back. Once, when your mother was still alive, she said he used to speak to trees, said he would kneel at the base of the oldest trunks and press his mouth to the bark, said he'd hum until the leaves above him stopped moving. You don't know if that was real. You were small then, and everything was real when it was said softly. Now he hums again, low, throat deep, the kind of sound that doesn't come from thought. It comes from somewhere else, from hunger maybe, from memory. He wipes his bloody palms across his face, leaves streaks that glisten in the firelight. The ash runs, the red stays. Someone behind you whispers, someone else hushes them. You're near the front, not because you were invited, just because no one stopped you. The shaman lowers his hands, palms out, fingers spread like roots. He whispers something. The sound doesn't reach you. You watch his mouth move, slow and sure, like the words are for the air, not the ears. Then he stops. The night has arrived without anyone noticing. The fire snaps once. The wind shifts. He lowers his arms. The blood has dried. The ash is gone from his cheeks. Only the marks remain. He stands. The dust clings to his knees. The sky gives no answer. But still, he nods. He walks past you. You don't meet his eyes. No one does. He sits again by the fire, wraps his wrap back around his shoulders, and picks at a piece of root like nothing happened. But something always happens, and it always leaves a stain. It starts with a hum, not a song, not yet. Just a low note rising from someone's throat. You don't see who begins it. Maybe the woman with the missing fingers. Maybe the boy who never speaks. It doesn't matter. Once it starts, others join. You feel it in your ribs before you hear it in your ears. A slow, steady vibration, like something waking up beneath the skin. Then the stomp. One foot hits dirt, then another. Not in rhythm, not at first. Just feet remembering how to move. You don't know whose idea it was. Maybe no one's. Maybe the fire asked for it. The circle forms without words. Shapes in the dark, arms loose, shoulders hunched. Not touching. Not yet. You stay outside it at first, watching. The fire spits and sighs. Its light sways on their faces, half-shadowed, painted with sweat and ash. The stomping grows louder, the humming too. Still no melody, just noise, thick and raw and needed. A woman claps, once, hard, then again. The others echo, not joy. This isn't joy. Joy has left this place. This is something older, something that happens when silence starts to rot in the chest. You step closer. The ground beneath their feet is already packed down, dust rising like ghosts with each stomp. They don't speak. They don't smile. Their eyes flick from shadow to fire to sky. Always watching, always listening for something not here yet. You know what they're doing. You've seen it before. The dancing is not celebration. It is warning to the spirits, the shadows, the things with too many teeth and no names, the ones that press against the edge of sleep. This movement says, we're still here. This sound says, don't come closer. This fire says, we see you. You step into the circle. No one stops you. Your feet find the pattern, or lack of one. Just lifting, stomping, turning. You hum low in your throat. You don't know the note. You don't need to. It finds you. A man beside you slaps his chest, hard, leaves a red mark. Another copies him. Then another. The sound changes, becomes a beat. Someone howls. Someone else echoes. Still no words, just noise. Your body begins to sweat. Your blood thumps in your wrists, your neck. You raise your arms and let them fall. Raise, fall. The motion makes you dizzy, then makes you light, then makes you something else entirely. Around you, feet thud, dust flies, sparks leap from the fire and vanish in the dark. You catch a glimpse of the shaman, barefoot, hair wild, jaw clenched, moving faster than anyone else, eyes closed like he's chasing something through himself. A girl spins, not gracefully, not like a bird, like a storm. Her legs give out and she falls into the dust. No one helps her up. She rises alone. You sing now, if it can be called that. A ragged wail, a sound torn from your belly, from the place that hasn't spoken in days. It hurts. It feels good. It doesn't stop. Your voice joins the others. They rise together like smoke, twisting into the sky. You don't know if anything hears, but you know you're loud enough. The fire burns brighter. Or maybe your eyes have just adjusted. Your body is tired, but you keep going. You can't stop. If you stop, something might notice. Something might slip in. So you stomp. You hum. You clap your chest and slap the ground and scream. Others fall away, panting, crawling from the circle like broken animals. You stay. You dance. Not for joy, not for the others, but to stay here, to stay whole, to stay seen. When the fire begins to shrink, the circle fades. One by one, they step back into silence, back into themselves. You stagger out too. Your breath cuts like ice. Your feet throb, but your shadow is still yours, and the spirits are still outside the light. For now, you find it by accident. A dip in the dirt, soft and round, half-shadowed beneath a fern. The edges are caved in where something heavy stepped, the center pressed low and smooth. A hoof, you think, not fresh but not long gone either. Whatever made it had weight, and direction, and no fear. But that doesn't matter now. What matters is what's inside. Water, not much, less than a mouthful, just enough to ripple when the wind breathes, just enough to reflect the branch above it, the sky behind it, your face bent low over it. You kneel. The ground is wet, not from rain, from the thing that passed through here. Maybe it bled, maybe it sweat, maybe it just crushed the soil so deep the earth sighed and filled itself up. You lean closer. Your hands press into the mud on either side. Your knees sink. Your stomach growls. Not from hunger, not now, but from something older. The kind of thirst that sits in the chest like dust. You open your mouth and lower your face to the print. The water smells faintly like fur, like warmth, like something alive that didn't die here. You drink. Not fast, not loud. Just lips against puddle, tongue scooping gently. You close your eyes. You don't want to see your reflection like this. The water is warm. Not body warm. Not like soup or blood. But warmer than it should be. Warmer than clean. You drink anyway. It tastes of dirt, of hoof, of whatever passed here and didn't die. You wonder what it was. Elk, maybe. Or something more cautious. You picture it standing where you are, breathing heavily, its ears twitching as it scanned the trees, then lowering its head to graze. Orient, to listen, or just to be still. You suck the last bit of water from the hollow and sit back, mud on your chin, a streak down your neck. Your tongue feels heavier now, like it's holding the shape of that print. You wipe your mouth with the back of your hand, then wipe your hand on your leg. You don't feel full, but you feel less dry, less hollow, less like bone. You lean forward and press your face into the earth, into the place where the water had been. The soil is cool. The print still holds its shape. You breathe it in. Then you rise. Your knees crack. Your thighs ache. But you stand. You look around. The trail is still there. Hoof after hoof, spaced wide. It didn't linger. It moved fast. Something frightened it. Or maybe it was just going somewhere better. You follow, not to find it. You won't catch it. You don't need to. You follow because that's what the thirsty do. You don't know where it leads, but something that strong, that heavy, that certain. It must know something you don't. You keep your eyes low, searching for the next track, the next print, the next puddle. You're not walking anymore. You're drinking with your feet. And every step tastes like maybe. The ground is soft, damp from rain earlier, still clinging to its scent. Earthy, sour, alive. You press your fingers into it slowly, like testing skin. Like you expect it to pull back. It doesn't. It yields. You're alone. The others have moved on, chasing smoke or tracks or something with meat on it. You didn't keep up. You didn't mean to stay behind, but your foot hurts, and your thoughts are too loud. So now it's just you and the dirt. You kneel. Your knees leave marks. Two shallow dents, side by side, like a creature's tracks but clumsier. You stare at them for a while, wondering if you'll leave more of yourself behind like that. Not bones, not blood, just impressions, indents, silence that holds your shape. You reach for a stick. Thin, brittle, crooked at one end, useless for hunting. Perfect for this. You scratch. Not fast. Not clearly. The motion feels strange, almost shameful, like dancing when there's no music, or speaking when no one's asked. It's not a word. You don't have those. Not ones that stay. It's not a picture either. No faces, no beasts, just lines, curves, circles that almost close. A jagged shape that might be a tree or a river, or just the way your breath feels when you're scared. You don't stop. You press harder. The stick snaps. You don't care. You use your finger. It coats with mud. You drag it through the earth, carving pieces of yourself into something that can't argue. When you're done, you sit back. It looks wrong. Beautiful wrong. Like it belongs to you but also doesn't. Like it's remembering you before you finish being. You wipe your hands on your thighs. The dirt leaves streaks. Your breath is loud now. You look around. Still no one. Good. You scoop loose soil back over the marks. Gently. Like tucking in a sleeping child. You smooth the surface with your palm until it's just a patch of ordinary ground again. Flat. Empty. Unimportant. You sit there a while, not thinking. Just listening. The wind through the grass. A branch creaking. A bird that doesn't care. You wonder if someone will find it one day, dig by accident, or follow you and fall to their knees in the same place. Maybe they'll scrape the dirt away and see what you scratched and not understand it. Maybe they'll think it was an accident, or a warning, or a map. Maybe they'll cover it back up too. You press your hand into the spot, flat and firm. It leaves another mark, a different kind. One that doesn't mean anything except you were here. You stand. The wind picks up, tugging at your wrap. The sky shifts, blue bleeding into gray. You walk away, not quickly, not far, just enough. The ground stays behind, but it knows something now. And so do you. You curl into yourself beneath the roots of something older than you. The tree is wide, hollow near the bottom. The space where animals used to sleep, or still do. You didn't ask permission. You didn't make a noise. You just crawled in and became smaller. That's how you survive sometimes, not with strength, but with less. The ground is damp. It smells of rot and wet leaves and something almost sweet, like mushrooms crushed under too many footsteps. The bark presses cold against your spine. You try not to shiver. Above you, the trees move, not like wind moves grass. This is slower, stranger. Branches creak, leaves hiss, trunks groan with memory. You press your face into your arm, trying to block the sound, but it's everywhere. Inside the roots, inside your head. You tell yourself it's just the wind. You've said that before. It doesn't always help. You try to breathe like someone who isn't afraid. Slow, heavy, the kind of breathing you hear when the fire's low and the tribe has stopped talking. The kind that means rest, or dreams, or at least surrender. You count the breaths. 1, 2, 3. Then something snaps far off. You flinch. Not much. Just your shoulders rising like they remember something. A twig, a step, a cough that never belonged to a human. You hold your breath. The silence after is worse. Thick. Hungry. Then the trees speak again. Not words, but meaning. They creak like old bones. They moan like empty bellies. They whisper things you almost understand. Names you've forgotten, warnings too late, stories without endings. You bite your knuckle and try to pretend you're not listening. But you are. Because you always do. Once, a woman with a painted face told you the trees remember everything. She said if you lie beneath them long enough, they'll whisper your own thoughts back to you. Wrong and twisted, but true. You think she's dead now, or lost, or just one more sound in the canopy. You close your eyes tighter. Behind your eyelids the dark moves. Not shapes, not beasts. Just movement. Like the shadows have their own breath and you're lying too close to their mouths. You want to sleep. You tell your body it's safe. You tell your body it's lying. Your foot cramps. Your hip aches from the root pressing beneath it. You shift. The tree groans under your back, like it knows you don't belong here. The wind rises. You hear your name. Not clearly, not spoken, but it's there, tangled in the branches, stretched into vowels by the sky. You tell yourself you imagined it. You imagine telling yourself that again. You dig your fingers into the dirt. It's cold. Real. That helps. You think about the fire circle. Not the warmth, the shape, the bodies near yours, the way the breathing made a rhythm. Here your rhythm is wrong. You hum. Software. Just enough to feel the sound inside your teeth. It doesn't drown the trees, but it reminds you you're still here. You press your face deeper into your arm. The wind screams once, high and fast, like a child falling. Then it passes. Then silence. You don't sleep. Not really. But you stop being awake in the usual way. And for now, that's enough. It arcs through the smoke without warning. A pale shape. A wet shape. A bone, half clean, still slick with fat and ash, tumbling in the air like it's unsure where to land. You don't move until it hits the dirt beside you with a soft thud. A smear of grease streaks across the dry ground. A fly buzzes, already interested. You blink. Once, twice. Then you look up. No one's watching you. They're laughing, but not at you. Not directly. Someone tells a joke, a real one, about the size of a fish or a woman's teeth or a night that ended badly. The fire crackles. The smell of cooked marrow clings to everything. You try to trace the throw, but no one's looking your way. The bone lies between your feet. It's not a gift. It wasn't handed to you. No one said your name. It's just there now, like the rain or a bruise or silence. You pick it up. It's warm. The meat clings in soft ribbons, black at the edges, pink in the center, tough as old bark. Your fingers twitch. Your mouth fills. You look down at it and then, slowly, press it to your lips. You don't eat all at once. You take a bite from the edge, small and quick, in case someone shouts. No one does. You chew fast. It hurts your jaw. You swallow before it's soft enough. You cough. No one notices. You keep eating. Your fingers get sticky. Your teeth scrape against the bone. You suck at the cracks, press your thumb into the open end, to force out whatever's still inside. There's marrow, just a smear, enough to taste something more than smoke. You don't stop until it's bare. When it's finished, you set it beside you like it belongs there. It does now. A little white flag of something you didn't earn, but didn't refuse. You wipe your hand on your thigh. The laughter keeps rising. Someone claps. Someone spits into the fire. You glance around again. Still no faces turned your way. But someone saw. They always do. Maybe it was kindness. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was a message. Stay there. Be quiet. Eat what's thrown. You don't care. Your stomach quiets. Your head stops floating. For now, that's enough. You lean back against the rock behind you and close your eyes. The bone stays beside you, and you stay beside the bone. The moon comes up without asking. It climbs over the trees like a pale eye, slow and swollen, watching everything it shouldn't. You see it before you feel it, round and too clean, like something carved out of bone and polished by cold hands. It glows over the fireless camp, lighting every branch, every careless footprint, every scrap of your too thin wrap. You roll onto your side and curse it in silence. You don't know the words for hatred, not the ones that last, but the feeling is there, sitting heavy in your gut, crawling under your skin like fleas. You pull the wrap tighter. It doesn't help. The moon pours down on you anyway. You're too visible. You know it. Every curve of your back, every breath you try to hide, it all reflects off the ground, off your skin, off your fear. If something wanted you dead tonight, it wouldn't have to try hard. You press your face into the dirt and try to disappear. The cold bites through the ground, through your jaw, into your teeth. You hold your breath. Not because you're hiding, because you don't want to hear it. The wind has gone still. The insects have stopped. Even the trees are silent now, as if they too know not to speak beneath that kind of sky. You peek out again, still there. The moon hasn't blinked. It never does. You think about throwing something at it. A stone, a bone, your own voice. But you know it would laugh if it could. That pale thing doesn't care what you are. It only shines. You've met people like that. You shift under your wrap, curl tighter, dig your toes into the earth like roots. You pretend the ground will hold you if something comes. You pretend it likes you more than the sky does. You close your eyes. It doesn't help. The light slips through your eyelids, through your skull. You can still see it, still feel it. A white heat without warmth. You remember stories about the moon. Someone once said it was a god. Someone else said it was a dead thing, round and hollow and hungry. You never believed either. But now you wonder. You wonder what it eats to stay so full. You press your fingers into your ears. Still there. You think of the others, how they sleep in clumps or under furs or with backs pressed together for warmth. You don't have that. Not tonight. Not most nights. The fire burned out hours ago. No one bothered to feed it. No one asked if you'd take a turn. Maybe they thought the moon would be enough. You sit up, slowly, carefully. You don't want to wake anything, not even the dark. You stand. The grass glows silver beneath you. The trees stretch long arms across the ground. You walk to the edge of the clearing and crouch by a fallen log. You don't know what you're doing. You just want shade. You sit there, knees tucked under chin, and let the bark scratch your back. You stare at the earth and not the sky. You count the holes in a leaf until your eyes blur. Eventually, the cold settles. Not because it's warmer, because you stop noticing. You drift. Not sleep, Something near it. The moon watches, and you pretend you're stone. It happens fast. A stray coal, kicked from the edge of the fire by someone laughing too hard. It rolls beneath your foot just as you step forward to reach the shared bowl. And then, heat. Not warmth, not comfort, not the kind that spreads through skin on cold nights. This is sharp, blinding, instant. The flesh of your foot hisses against it. Something cracks. Maybe the coal. Maybe you. You freeze. Your body wants to react, jerk away, hiss, scream, grab your foot and cradle it like something lost. But you don't. You stay still. There are too many eyes. They're not looking at you yet. But they could. If you yelp, if you fall, if you show softness. So you let the pain rise like smoke in your throat, and you swallow it. Your foot lifts slowly, deliberately. You place it down in the dirt beside the fire as if nothing happened. The scent of burnt skin follows you. You ignore it. You reach for the bowl. Your hand doesn't shake. You scoop something thick and root-heavy into your mouth. Chew, swallow, smile even. Someone laughs at something behind you. Too loud, too close. The fire snaps. You nod like you're part of the joke. You take another bite. The pain throbs in waves now. Your foot pulses with it. Each beat slower, heavier. You imagine the blister forming clear and hot and full of nothing useful. You picture the skin peeling later, the raw pink beneath. The risk of rot if it stays dirty. But for now, it's just fire under skin, and you still have a place here. So you breathe through your teeth, quiet, slow. You shift your weight subtly, placing more on the other leg. You wrap your burnt foot beneath you, hiding it in shadow and dust. The warmth of the coal still clings to your heel, a ghost that won't let go. No one notices. That's the important part. You stay in the circle. You stay fed. You stay seen, but not in the wrong way. Someone offers you another strip of bark meat. You take it without looking, chew until your jaw aches, force a swallow. You catch yourself leaning forward too far, almost off balance. The pain makes you clumsy. You pretend to adjust your wrap, buying time to center yourself. The man beside you coughs, spits. The woman across the fire stares into the flames like they'll answer something. No one's watching your feet. You wonder if this is what being strong really is. Not the hunting. Not the loud laughter or the scars that show. Just this. Standing in fire and pretending it's warmth. The circle shifts. Someone stands. Someone leaves. You stay. You press your toes deeper into the cool dirt. You grind the blister against the ground, slow and steady, until it breaks. You feel it leak. You don't flinch. You wipe your mouth. Smile again. A child begins to cry at the edge of the group. No one moves to comfort them. Their sound rises, sharp and raw. You feel it in your teeth. It echoes in the empty part of you where sound used to live. You look back at the fire. Let it heat your face. Let it ignore your foot. When the circle begins to quiet, when people lean into each other or slide away to sleep, you rise carefully. Your foot screams, but you don't. You walk slow, not limping, just tired. You step into the dark, where pain can speak again, where your silence can loosen its grip. But not yet, not until you're alone. You find it by accident. A shallow pool tucked between two stones at the base of the ravine. The rain filled it sometime in the night, quiet and slow. No ripples now, just stillness, wrapped in moss and silence. You kneel to drink. Your hands reach first. You always use your hands. The memory of old sickness still lingers. Water that smelled right, tasted right, but curled inside your belly and hollowed you out. Now you stir it first. Let the mud settle. Let the surface shake. But it doesn't. The water stays still. Too still. Your fingers hover above it. Then you see it. Your face. Not just your face. Something that wears your face. It stares back at you, wide-eyed, wild-haired, lips cracked, brow heavy, skin smeared with dirt and fire smoke. But there's more behind the eyes. Not thought, not fear. Hunger. Deep, coiled, patient. The reflection shifts. You don't move, but it does. Just slightly. The corner of the mouth twitches. The eyes widen like it recognizes you before you recognize it. Like it's been waiting. You jerk back. Your hand hits the stone behind you. A hollow crack. The water ripples now, but not enough to blur what you saw. You scramble to your feet, breath stuck high in your chest. Your legs feel too long, too new. You glance over your shoulder like something followed you out of the pool. Nothing there. Just wind. Leaves. The slope of the earth. You've looked at yourself before. Reflections in water, in bone-polished bowls, in the eyes of someone dying. But this was different. This wasn't a mirror. It was a mouth. You walk fast at first, then faster. Then you run, but not for long. Your feet slap the ground wrong. The pace feels too loud, too obvious. You slow. Listen. Everything around you sounds normal, but you don't trust that anymore. You crouch behind a fallen log and wait. Your heart kicks against your ribs like it wants out. You stare at your hands. Are they the same? They're yours. Scarred, rough. The left one still crooked from that time you slipped and caught the wrong branch. The right still bearing the pink patch from a coal you didn't speak about. But they feel different now, like they might belong to the thing in the water. You press them to your face. Your skin is warm, real, but the memory remains. You remember the way its mouth twitched, the way its eyes leaned in, the way it didn't blink. You sit there, shaking, until your breath slows. You want to believe it was just you. You don't. You want to go back and check. You won't. You stay behind the log, arms wrapped around your knees, chin resting on bone. You hum. Just a little. A sound only you can hear. The kind that reminds your body where it lives. The kind that keeps the other thing, whatever it was, behind glass, behind water, behind something you won't touch again. You stay until the sun moves, until the light breaks the shape of the pool in your mind. Then you rise. You walk a new direction. No more water today, no more mirrors. You thirst, but not enough. Not yet. He was already lying down when the fire went quiet. Not curled, not covered, just flat, like the ground finally caught him mid-step and held him there. His hands rested on his chest, one over the other like he meant to press something back inside. His eyes were closed, but not softly. Tight, like sleep was a choice. You noticed he hadn't eaten. A bowl passed him by once, then twice. Someone set it near him on a rock, but he never reached for it. The flies found it first. No one moved it. Now the fire is cold, and so is the air, and so is he. The others rise slowly, stretching the night from their joints, blinking against the gray light. Someone coughs. Someone groans. A child whimpers until a hand hushes it. The circle scatters into movement. Pee, check the ashes. Search the edge of camp for new tracks or old ones. No one speaks his name. You watch him from where you sit, still wrapped in last night's smoke. The breeze lifts a corner of his wrap. It doesn't fall back. His chest doesn't rise. His lips are dry. There's a little blood on his lower one, where he bit it in his sleep, or near it. You wait for someone else to say it. They don't. They know. You rise, quietly, not because you're scared, because silence feels heavier now, like any sound might wake something you don't want. You walk over, close enough to see the thinness of him. He was never thick, but now he looks carved out. His ribs look like rope. His hair is matted with old sweat and dust. His fingers are curled around nothing, just air. You kneel beside him, but not too close. His foot has gone gray at the edges. His knee is bent, just slightly. The flies have found his ear. You think he died when no one was looking, or maybe everyone was, and they just didn't say. That's how it works sometimes. He wasn't the kind to shout. He didn't tell stories often. But when he did, people listened, even if they didn't like him. He'd hum to himself sometimes. Not songs, just sounds that felt like remembering. Now he's quiet in a different way. You want to close his eyes. You don't. Not because you're afraid to touch him, because you've seen what happens when you do. Touch makes things real. Better to let him be still, like sleep. Like maybe he'll get up and mutter about the cold or the ache in his back, or how no one tends the fire right anymore. You sit beside him, cross-legged, just for a moment. He was never kind to you, but he never pushed you out of the circle either. And once, just once, he passed you a stick of meat when he thought no one saw. You remember that. You hear someone whisper behind you. Not about him, about leaving, about water, about the sun. They'll go soon. You know what they'll do. Nothing. They won't bury him. They won't burn him. They'll just move camp and let the trees take what's left. You stand. Look down one last time. You murmur something. Not a prayer. Not a name. Just sound. Then you walk away. The others have started to pack. No one meets your eyes. But they all know. The old one didn't wake up, and the world didn't stop. It just shifted, quietly, as if making room. You smell it before you see it. Smoke, thin and oily, carried on the morning breeze like a question. Not the smell of something burning fresh. This is older, settled. A fire that's been fed and rested and fed again. A fire that belongs to someone. Your nose twitches. You freeze mid-step. The others keep walking. They don't smell it yet. Or maybe they do, and they're pretending not to. Hope is dangerous like that. It wakes things better left asleep. You wait until the wind shifts again. The smoke curls under your eyes this time, into your mouth, and you taste it. Meat, not bark, not roots, flesh, cooked, not charred. Your stomach clenches. You look at the horizon, soft hills, crouched trees, a few birds pretending not to watch. There's no firelight, no voices, no shape of movement, but the smoke is steady. Someone is there. You walk again, slower now. You think about what kind of someone it could be. There are groups that welcome, and groups that don't. There are ones that smile first, and ones that sharpen sticks before they even speak. You've seen both. You've run from both. You've been both. The others behind you are murmuring now. Someone else smells it. A woman taps the shoulder of the boy she carries, lifts her chin toward the scent. He doesn't understand. He's too young. He grins, shows a half-missing row of teeth. You keep walking. The ground changes. More footprints here. Some old, some sharp-edged. Bare feet mostly. One with something like leather. A dragging mark. Someone tired or wounded. You crouch and press your hand into one of the prints. Still warm. Still soft. They're close. The group stops without being told. Everyone knows now. The air shifts, not the wind, just the breath between bodies. Something tight, waiting. You all listen. Nothing. Just the trees creaking like tired bones. Someone coughs. Someone whispers the word for meat. You step forward again. The fire will be over the next rise. You know it without seeing. You can feel it, like a pulse under the dirt, like the land is holding its breath. You climb the hill slow. One step, another, you reach the top. You see them. A group like yours, or nearly. 10, maybe 12. Mostly thin, mostly older. A few with weapons, though none raised. Their fire is low but steady, ash-colored smoke rising into a crooked sky. A woman sees you. She doesn't move. A man looks up from where he's skinning something long and stiff-legged. He pauses, blade resting on the bone. Another child peeks from behind a man's leg. You stand still. You feel every eye behind you, waiting. No one speaks. The other group stays frozen. You raise a hand. Not a wave, just fingers up, palm out. You wait. The man with the blade looks at your hand, then back at your eyes, then back to the fire. He nods. Once. You exhale, not relief, not yet, but a piece of it. The woman behind you moves, then another. The group shifts forward slowly, like animals leaving the edge of the woods. You all walk together, toward the smoke, toward the maybe, toward the kind of fire that could still mean a meal, or a knife, or both. But for now, it stays lit, and they stay human. You find it by smell, not fresh, not hidden, just lying there in the grass, half covered by leaves and flies. A neck twisted wrong, fur matted, something smaller than a deer, but larger than a rabbit. Maybe it fell. Maybe it was hunted and dropped. Maybe it just stopped breathing. It doesn't matter. You crouch beside it and wave the flies off. They come back. Of course they do. They've already staked their claim. Little white worms writhe in the folds where the belly split. You look away from that part. The ribs are still intact. The throat is untouched. You reach forward slowly. The fur is slick. It clings to your fingers. You press down on the side, soft, warm still. Or maybe that's just the sun. The skin gives easily. You slide your fingers underneath and find meat. Not much, but enough. Your stomach has forgotten how to wait. It growls loud enough to startle a bird nearby. It flutters off. You don't look up. You pull a strip of meat loose, tear it with your teeth, chew slowly, carefully. Your tongue finds the rot first, sweet and thick and wrong. But then the fat cuts through, the salt of old blood, the burn of something turning. You don't gag. You've learned how not to. The second bite is worse. More texture. Something moves. You spit out a maggot and wipe your mouth with the back of your wrist. You chew again. Swallow this time. Your throat tightens, then gives. You tear another strip. The flies buzz louder now. You can feel them in your ears, in your nose. One crawls across your cheek. You don't swat it. You don't stop. You eat around the worst parts. The belly is too soft. You avoid it. The neck is cleaner. You chew cartilage. Gnaw on the edge of a bone. You suck marrow from a crack with your tongue and pretend it's soup. You don't think about who killed it, or why they left it, or whether they'll come back. You eat fast, not out of greed, out of knowledge. Meat doesn't last. Not like this. Not out here. You tear off a final piece and wrap it in a leaf, tucking it into your wrap. It won't keep. But maybe it'll help later. Or someone else will need it. Maybe. You stand. Your knees crack. Your stomach churns. You take a deep breath. The smell is worse standing. You turn and walk. Not far. Just enough to leave it behind. The flies follow you for a few steps. Then they return to the only thing that stays still. You wipe your hands on your thigh. The smear it leaves looks like old blood. It probably is. The sun is higher now. You feel warmer, not full, but no longer empty. You don't look back. It starts with a shift, not in the trees, not in the air, in your bones, a kind of tightening, Jaw, chest, knuckles. Like the world has inhaled but forgot how to let go. You stop walking. Others do too. Heads tilt up, eyes squinting. The sky still looks blue, but the wrong kind. Flat, stretched too thin, too silent. You sniff. Nothing yet. But you feel it. A charge. Like every hair on your neck is listening for something you can't name. Then the wind turns. Not fast. Just sharp. Cold in the middle. It slices through your wrap and finds your skin. You shiver once and pretend it's nothing. It's not nothing. The first drop hits your wrist, then another. The shape of them is wrong, heavy, fat, angry. They splatter instead of fall. You blink fast. Try to count. Too late. The sky opens. No warning, no rhythm, just a crash and then everything is water. The sound is instant, like fists pounding every surface at once. Leaves rattle. Grass flattens. The dirt turns slick beneath your feet, and the air turns thick enough to choke. You run. So does everyone else. But there's nowhere to go. No caves. No trees wide enough. Just a low dip in the land. Not even deep, already filling with water. You stumble down into it anyway because at least it's not wind. Your feet sink. Mud climbs your ankles. Your wrap clings like skin. You crouch and wrap your arms around your head. Not to stay dry. That's already gone. Just to feel something. To hold yourself still while the sky tries to peel you open. The thunder doesn't rumble. It cracks, like stone breaking, like the air itself has been split. You flinch. Everyone flinches. One flash, too bright, too fast, paints the world bone white. For half a second, you see the woman beside you. Her mouth is open. Her hands are empty. Her eyes look older than her face. Then it's dark again. Darker than before. You bury your face in your knees. Water runs down your spine, into your ears. You think about fire, about how quiet it was, how warm, how small. You think about fire because there's nothing left of it now. The rain soaks everything. It washes away footprints, smears of blood. The last line someone scratched into the dirt. Gone. You don't cry. You breathe. That's all you can do. Your stomach cramps. Not from hunger, from cold, from fear. Your teeth clack once, twice. You bite your lip to stop the sound. Somewhere behind you, a child screams. You don't look. What would you do? You're not shelter. You're barely skin. Another bolt splits the sky. This one doesn't flash. It lingers. A thick vein of light curling down into the trees, white and violent. The sound follows almost immediately. A boom so loud it shakes the mud beneath you. You cover your ears, but the sky doesn't care. You stay hunched for what feels like a lifetime. When the rain finally softens, it doesn't stop. It just gets tired, turns to drizzle. The kind that clings instead of hits. You uncurl slowly. Your legs are numb. Your back aches. Everything squelches. The others begin to rise too. Quiet. No words. There's no point. Nothing to say except yes, it happened. Yes, we're still here. No, we weren't ready. You climb the bank, slipping twice. Your foot finds something buried. A bowl, maybe, or bone. You leave it. Your wrap weighs twice what it did. You smell like wet ash and regret. You keep walking. Not toward anything. Just away from where the sky broke. The clouds still hang above, gray and watching. But for now, they're finished. They're behind you. You don't see them. You don't need to. You heard the snap, too crisp, too clean to be branch alone. Then the silence. That's worse. The pause. Like whatever made the sound is waiting to hear you move. You don't. You drop slowly to the ground. No breath. No shift of weight. Just down. One knee, then the other. The earth is cold and soft beneath your palms, a little wet. Your fingers sink into it without asking. You press your body flat against a log half covered in moss. It's not wide enough to hide you, but it's what you have. Your wrap gathers under your ribs, tight and wrong. You leave it. You close your eyes. Not because it helps, just because open ones want to look, want to find shapes in the dark. You know what happens when you look too long. You listen, not for breathing. It won't breathe loud. Not for footsteps. It won't need those. You listen for teeth. The sound they make clicking together, tasting the air. You've heard it before. You think. Or maybe you've only imagined it so many times that now it's real. You don't move. You become still in the oldest way. Like stone. Like bone. Like something that's already been chewed and spat back into the dirt. The wind dies. The trees stop talking. Even the insects go quiet. Everything holds its breath. You don't know how close it is. You feel heat. Or maybe cold. Either way, it brushes the back of your neck like a thought you didn't ask for. Your eyes stay shut, your teeth pressed together. Hard. You don't bite your tongue, but only because your body remembers not to. You picture the shape of it. Low to the ground. Longer than you. Back arched. Jaws wider than your chest. Yellow eyes, maybe. Or none. You imagine it crouching just beyond your reach, head cocked, sniffing, wondering, is it still alive? Does it know I'm here? Would it taste like fear? Your lungs start to burn. You let out air through your nose. Slow, silent. A thread of breath so thin it disappears before it touches the grass. Another sound. Closer. A paw, maybe. Or a shoulder brushing bark. Or a tail sliding through leaves. You press deeper into the ground. You try to disappear. You think of things that don't get eaten. Stones, shadows, regret. You become those. The thing moves again. Then, nothing. No more sound. No more heat. No teeth. It's gone, or it's waiting. You stay. Minutes stretch into something longer. Your arms start to cramp. Your knees are wet now. Your fingers twitch once on accident. You bite the inside of your cheek to stay still. Eventually the night shifts. The insects return first, then the breeze. A bird chirps, soft and foolish. You still don't move. Not yet. Not until the world forgets you again. You open your eyes. The dark is thick, but empty now. You rise like smoke. Quiet. Uncertain. Your body hurts, but you don't check for blood. You walk, slow and hunched, as if the teeth might still be behind you, watching. You leave no trail. Only the shape of yourself pressed into the dirt, smaller than before. It finds you before your eyes do. A sharp edge in the air, tucked beneath the smell of wet bark and old leaves. Metallic. Sweet. Too heavy to belong to anything still living. It clings to the back of your throat, thick as smoke. You stop walking. The others are farther behind, scattered between the trees, quieter than usual. You raise your hand, not high, just enough. A signal without sound, a question without shape. No one answers. So you listen. The wind carries it again, stronger now. A scent that doesn't belong to this morning, this path, this silence. It's not yours, but it knows how to find you. You crouch low. The moss here is torn. The soil blackened, not with rot, but with something fresher. A smear on the bark. A spatter near the roots. It's not old. Still wet. Still warm. Your body reacts before your thoughts catch up. Heart faster. Shoulders tighter. Breath shorter. You lean forward, nose almost to the earth, following where the blood leads. A narrow trail. Broken ferns. A print, hoof or hand, hard to tell in the mud. Something moved through here quickly, but not fast enough to stop the bleeding. You glance back once. Still alone. You keep going. The trees close in ahead, bending slightly like they've been pushed. Branches scratched at shoulder height. A hair caught in a thorn, coarse, dark, not yours. The trail thickens. You find a patch where it pooled, dark red against pale stone. A place of pause. A fall. A wound checked. You stare at it too long, like you expect it to answer. Then you hear it. A breath. Not yours. Shallow, ragged. Off to the left, tucked behind the ridge of root and shadow. You move slow. You don't call out. You don't want to know if it's friend or prey. You find them curled tight, back against a tree, one leg twisted under, arms clutching a wound that still spills between their fingers. Their eyes flick to you. Wild, tired, not scared yet. You both freeze. They're older, or maybe just worn thin. Their face is smeared with ash and blood. Not all of it theirs. You don't move. They don't either. The air thickens between you. A pulse, a question, then a nod. So small you almost miss it. Permission? Maybe. You kneel beside them, slow and open. You don't speak. You don't touch. You look at the wound, deep along the ribs, torn, not cut. An animal, a rival. The story lives in the blood, but it won't tell you all of it. They don't reach for help, but they don't push you away. You tear a strip from your wrap, press it firm against the wound. Their breath hitches, not a scream, just a noise that says, "This hurts," and also, "Thank you." The bleeding slows. You press harder. Your own fingers stain with it. The smell is everywhere now. Not warning, not quite. Not invitation either, just truth. You stay there until the shaking eases, until their eyes close, not from peace, but from exhaustion. You sit back, watch the trees, listen for footsteps. No one comes. You lean your head against the trunk beside them. The blood between your hands dries sticky and dark. You don't know what this was. You don't know what it means. But you followed it anyway, and now you're here, breathing in someone else's story, trying not to become part of it. The dream comes soft, not like a vision, not like a memory, like a scent on the wind, something you almost remember but not quite. It starts in your chest, that hollow place where fear usually curls. But tonight it's full of something calm. You lie curled beside the ashes of the fire. It's gone cold, but the stones still hold a bit of warmth. Around you, others sleep. Their breath hums against the dark, a steady rhythm. No one cries, no one moves. You can almost believe the world has paused. That's when the dream begins. You see a wall, not made of brambles or branches, not tied with twine and prayer. Stone, stacked, flat, firm, taller than you, too wide to reach around. It stands without leaning. It doesn't shift in the wind. It holds. You touch it in the dream. Run your palm across the surface. It's rough, but not sharp. Cool, but not cruel. It doesn't flinch when you press against it. You lean your full weight in, and it doesn't move. Behind the wall is warmth. Not fire exactly. Something steadier. A place where fire can stay. Where you don't have to protect it. Where the wind doesn't bite it in the night. Where rain can't drown it. The floor is dry. You don't remember the last time your knees touched dry ground indoors. Not cave dry. Not dirt dry. Dry like someone cared enough to make it so. Dry like it was meant for skin. In the dream, your shoulders uncoil. You stand tall, not hunched, not ready to run. You breathe without listening for footsteps. You open your hands. You sit by the fire, and no one grabs the last scrap of meat before you can reach it. You hear voices, not shouts, talking. Software like rain on furs. Like stories told without fear of being overheard. You see tools stacked along the wall. not scattered, not hidden. You see food in clay bowls. You see water that waits in jars instead of puddles. You see a child sleep without twitching, without clutching a bone or a brother. You see a place made to stay. The dream swells, grows warmer. Your chest fills with a new kind of ache, not hunger, not cold. Longing, sharp and slow. You walk through the door. There is a door. It swings shut behind you. No one has to guard it. You wake. The sky above is still dark, but the stars have started to shift, the kind of dark that means soon. You shift on your side. The ashes beside you are gray. Your wrap is wet. Someone's foot twitches near your shoulder. The ground is cold. Your body remembers the dream like a bruise. You blink, slow. There are no walls here, but your hands ache to build them. You see it before it sees you. Low to the ground, moving like smoke. One leg still crooked, dragging just enough to leave a strange track behind it. Not fresh, not fast, not strong, but alive. It pauses at the tree line. The fire is small tonight. Low flame, barely more than a whisper. The others sleep already or pretend to. No one guards the edge. Nothing has tried in days, except this. It steps forward, slow and deliberate, as if it remembers the pain from last time. As if it remembers you. You don't rise. You don't make a sound. You watch. Its eyes catch the firelight. Amber, wet. They flick between the figures sleeping around the circle, then settle on you. No challenge in them. No fear either. Just knowing. You reach to your side and find the scrap you saved. A twist of meat from a stringy kill, dried at the edges, still clinging to a bit of fat. You didn't save it for this, but it was never really for you either. You don't call to it. You just hold the food in your palm. It watches you longer than it should. Then it limps closer. The silence stretches. No birds, no wind. Just the soft crunch of dirt beneath the creature's paws and the sound of your own heartbeat in your ears. It stops just out of reach. You place the food down between you. Your hand retreats. It waits. Then one step, another, head low, shoulder tense. It sniffs the ground first, not the offering, as if checking the shape of the earth, making sure no traps were set. Then it lowers its mouth and takes the meat. It doesn't run. It chews slowly. You stay still. It chews until it's gone, then licks the ground once, then licks the air. Then it looks at you. You meet its eyes. You don't blink. You don't smile. It limps to the edge of the firelight and lies down, not curled tight like prey, not upright like a guard, just there, breathing, watching. You lie back too, not relaxed, but not tense. The fire cracks. A log collapses inward. Ash drifts into the dark. You close your eyes. The creature breathes in rhythm now. It doesn't purr. It doesn't growl. It just is. You don't know what it wants. You don't care. You gave something. It stayed. For now, that's enough. You fall asleep facing the edge of camp. And you are not the last one to close your eyes. You stop at the crest of the hill. Not because you're tired. You've been tired for days. Not because the others told you to. They've already gone ahead. Barely shadows between the trees. Too far to call back. You stop because something in you says this is the place to look. So you do. Behind you, smoke thinned by distance. A black thread unraveling in the sky. The last fire. The one you left smoldering. No one left to tend it. Ash scattered. Stones pulled apart. No mark that says you were ever there except the smell of burned bark and damp feet. And the prints. Your prints. Small, deep, half filled with mud. The only path there ever was. You try to follow them with your eyes, but the grass is already pulling itself back up. The wind, voices remembering. You used to think the forest watched you. Now you think maybe it forgets you as soon as you pass. Maybe that's a kindness. You turn your head toward the last camp, the last fire circle, the place where someone died, where someone laughed, where someone gave you a piece of meat without looking you in the eye. You press your tongue to the back of your teeth. Nothing to say. Still, the silence feels thick with things unsaid. You thought there'd be a moment, a sense of closure, a flash of meaning. There isn't. Just wind, just sky, just dirt under your feet and a weight in your belly that's not hunger but lives close to it. You turn to go. Your feet sink slightly into the moss. It squishes, cool, real. The trees ahead aren't a wall, but they aren't a door either. They're just what comes next. You step forward anyway. No one told you where to go. No one pointed. No hand on your shoulder. No name spoken. But your body knows the rhythm now. One foot, then the other. Then again. You duck beneath a low branch. Step over a stone. Pause when you hear birds. Everything ordinary. Everything sacred. You don't know what's ahead. There could be others. There could be teeth. There could be warmth. There could be nothing. You walk anyway. You don't look back this time. You already did. The path isn't behind you. It's beneath you. And it only exists because you're moving.